is going on, everybody? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley. Welcome back to Steelers Almighty. This is the post-game show from the Steelers' preseason victory over the Carolina Panthers, 19-10. Um, you know, I don't really know what to think about this one, ladies and gentlemen. Um, First team defense didn't look great. Broderick Jones, for the snaps that he was out there, again, the same mixed bag. Really good snaps, really bad some snaps. Offensive line did open up a little bit more running room. The first team offensive line opened up a little bit more running room, but again, the game was against Carolina's backups. The first team defense just didn't. They just didn't look interested, is what it kind of looked like. It didn't look like they were that interested in being out there. So that's a thing. Super vanilla, but they just didn't seem that interested. But then the big news, Derek Harmon gets hurt, looks bad, everybody thinking the worst, and then he comes back out and sits on the bench. We'll get into all of that and more on what happened in this preseason game. I appreciate everybody being in here, as always. Thank you, guys. Again, we had fun in the chat today. There was a lot going on in the chat. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys, as always, for showing up. Thank you always for showing up, showing out, and supporting the channel, man. We really do appreciate it. We do appreciate it. So let's get into this. Super chats are wide open. If you want to help support the channel, you know how to do that. Members will be coming in as they get in here. We will recognize them, but we appreciate you. Thank you a ton for showing up for us. So, the Steelers, like I said, the first team defense didn't look great. Again, everything's super vanilla. They just didn't look like they were that interested in being out there. And again, it wasn't everybody, but the secondary was out there. JPJ missed a tackle, looked ridiculous on the tackle. Jalen Ramsey got a unnecessary roughness penalty. That's one that I think he just did that on purpose. He's not going to do that in a regular season game. He knew what he was doing. So not that big of a deal. But what I thought, as far as what the Steelers look like, what the first team defense looked like, they just kind of went through the motions. That's literally what it looked like, is that, hey, we need to get some work in a game type setting. At least go through that motion. That's literally what it looked like, people. That's what they were out there to do. Still, no Highsmith, no Watt, no Hayward. But everybody else was out there. Patrick Queen played. Peyton Wilson played. So, but it just kind of looked like, that they were just going through the motions a little bit. So going through the motions. But we'll see. So we'll see what happens. As far as the offense is concerned, this was not a great night for Mason Rudolph. Couple of throws he missed, the bad interception, bad decision making. It just wasn't a great night, but it doesn't have to be. It's preseason game number 3. He's another one that it looked like, look, I'm just going through the motions, man. I'm going to go out here for a couple of snaps and just get off the field. That's literally what it looked like with Mason Rudolph. It was like, okay, I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to be done. And so that's what it looked like. I will say the offensive line, they played better. They played better. We got a ton of penalties in this game. That stopped us from scoring one drive. I mean, we had 3 holding penalties on one drive. I'm like, damn. Now whether, we'll need the all 22 to find out whether they were all legitimate or not. But Lord have mercy. It was a little brutal out there with the 3 in one drive is a ton, man. That's a ton. So we'll take a look at it. We'll find out what's what. But the penalties all night were pretty bad. It looked, I don't know, the rest were in rare form tonight with the penalties. I think the Steelers had 12 for over 100 yards. It was just stupid. But they did open up some running lanes. Caleb Johnson, again, looked pretty good running downhill. So you got to give him credit for that. Broderick Jones, again, really good plays and some really bad plays. You saw a couple of times he got saved on a pass set. A guy spun. It again, it looked like Broderick was just like, okay, I'm out here. I don't necessarily want to be out here. It's just the finishing of blocks is the problem. It's like, come on, my man. You got to finish the plays. So we'll see. We'll get to all 22 and we'll look at it again and see what we see. Having said all of that, I think everybody, the collective, okay, what's going on with Derek Harmon? Now, we know he got hurt. We know that he got hurt. And it didn't look good. I mean, there was basically no contact. I mean, it's not like somebody rolled into him or he was cutting or anything. It looked like his knee gave out on him, which that was never a good sign. Got carted off, looked like he was crying, and it just didn't look good. Did not look good. And maybe they didn't do, the test in the tent that they normally do. I find that hard to believe, but whatever the case may be. And every Steeler fan under the sun is completely holding their breath because they're just like, oh man, it's terrible. And then he comes back out. And that's a sign of good news because there's nobody that I've been watching football a long time. I know you guys have been watching football for a long time. Anybody that ever comes out from having a serious injury, either one, they don't come back out. That's number one. Or two, they're on crutches. And none of that was the case with Derek Harmon. He came back out, sitting on the bench, laughing. So it seems and appears to be a knee sprain. Now, again, gonna 100% got to go get an MRI. Got to have that. So, and then that will give you kind of the severity of what's going on here. So we'll see. But that's all I'm saying. And again, hell, who knows? Maybe it still is serious. And you just need the MRI to see how. I don't know, man. I don't want to be that guy that does a bunch of speculative work, because that doesn't do anybody any good, And until we know, we'll talk about it when we know. None of us are doctors. We're not MRI machines, and we can't see through his knee to know exactly what it is. So we just don't know. But you can, again, the signs are kind of there that it's not serious. Because like I said, anybody that has a serious injury, either one, they're in a huge knee brace and they're on crutches, or number two, they just don't come back out. That was not the case of either of that. So I feel good about that part. I actually feel good about that. Does it mean that that's the truth? No, doesn't mean that. Does it mean that, hey, all the doctors could see tonight, this is what they could tell, and the MRI tells us something completely different? That can still happen. So it's not that I'm trying to be a Debbie Downer. It's not that I'm trying to put bad juju in the air. All I'm just saying is, until we know, we don't know, because we can't see. The one thing I do know is more than likely they do a test. They can tell whether you have a torn ACL. They just usually let the MRI confirm it. But maybe this is something different. Maybe the Steelers are like, you know what? You can go back out there. It's fine, man. It's fine. Just go. And again, the locker room was on the other side of the field, so he had to walk a long way, which he did. So I don't know. So hopefully it's not anything serious. So, and that's the thing. Hopefully it's a grade 1 sprain, because if it is, then a couple weeks he'll be right back, and the Steelers have a couple weeks. I would say week 3, week 3, okay, we can live with that. Don't want it, don't like it, but well, I mean, sometimes you just got to live with what it is. I know Y.A. Black was playing good. Now, again, it was against a bunch of threes, but he played good. But we've seen him play good against better competition anyway. So, that's the situation that I'm with. That is the situation I'm with, is that, um, yeah, yeah. I just hope that it's nothing serious and that he can get back out there as quick as humanly possible. So Vegas says Coach T says it's a sprained knee for Harmon. He did. He did. So, and again, we've heard people say that they have a sprained knee and then it turns out to be something else once they get in the MRI. So hopefully it's like, no, his ACL's intact, man. It's all good. And everything else is intact, that it's literally just a sprain. So the reason that it's so weird is because it's like the way that he fell and twisted, it just didn't look good. It just didn't look good. I think that's why everybody was so enamored, is that it just didn't look good. But either way, we got to hope for the best and move on. We got Henry Johnson doing his thing in the chat tonight. Says cut Mason, move Skyler to number 2. He's younger, cheaper, and equally effective, if not more so. That couldn't be further from the truth. Henry Johnson, I'm not sure what football that you've watched in the regular season. Skylar Thompson has been horrible. The last time we saw Mason Rudolph in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform, he was pretty damn good. So I get it that you love the negativity. I 100% understand that that's your thing, but you couldn't be more wrong. You just couldn't be more wrong. And if you're basing it off of preseason football, I will, again, just say and be nice about it. You just couldn't be more wrong. We've seen Skylar Thompson in real football games. He's horrendous. Pretty much, and that's kind of the end of it. So Charles Jones says, Black is first man up, and he looked good. Yeah, Mason is fine. Yes, Mason is absolutely fine. He's fine. So it is what it is. I get it. So Mark Cunningham, though, says that he shouldn't have been out there halfway through the second quarter. All the other starters were off the field. Tomlin dodged a bullet for sure. Mark Cunningham, I think you're 100% correct. If Derek Harmon is a starter, treat him like a starter. It doesn't matter that he's a rookie. If he's a starter, treat him like a starter. Don't say, well, he needs to get reps. No. And if he needs the reps, then, hey, he's not a starter. But if he's a starter, then just treat the man like a starter. That's you're 100% right. There's no reason that he should have been out there. None at all. So Charles Jones, thank you for the super chat, man. We appreciate you, brother. So, but overall, I think the Steelers are going to be fine. I think the Steelers are going to be, we'll see. I mean, heck, I say that. I don't really have any proof. That's just me going off of a gut feeling that we didn't see the best of anything. You never do in preseason. But if you try to base too much off of what you see in preseason, you're usually going to get disappointed. Because, again, Steelers, we looked like the best team that had ever played football in 2023 in preseason. We literally looked like the best team in the National Football League, man. We looked incredible. Kenny Pickett didn't throw an incompletion. We're like, yeah, we hit on this pick. And then the season happened, and it was a disaster. Week 1. So, week 1. But I don't know. So, that's just kind of what it is. Kennedy Jones, he said, I wouldn't call pinpointing team weaknesses as being negative. Now, that's not a negative. Pinpointing weaknesses. Mason Rudolph isn't a weakness, and saying to cut Mason Rudolph isn't a weakness. Again, I know you're the negative guy too and like to argue, and I appreciate that. I love to argue back and forth when it makes sense. So, but the disrespect is not going to be allowed. I can assure you of that. Brother. But the bottom line is Mason Rudolph is better than Skylar Thompson, and he's proved it on a National Football League in real football games. And anybody that doesn't believe that or understand that, you need to watch more football. So if you think that's a cheerleader comment, watch more football. That's what I would tell you. Watch more football. Hallelujah on Derek Harmon. Absolutely. Absolutely. We appreciate it. So we appreciate it. But Mason is number 2, no doubt. But I'd take Skyler. I mean, Skyler absolutely needs to be the third quarterback. Will Howard's not ready to play football. Like, Will Howard is not going to be the number 3 guy. He got no preseason snaps, and he had a broken finger on his throwing hand. He's not going to be the third quarterback. That's just not how it's going to work. He'll end up on the PUP list, either that or IR all year, one of the two, and then we'll go from there. So it's just, he's going from there. But even if the Steelers decide to cut him, which I think would be nuts, Skylar Thompson, he's going to be somebody on somebody's football team. I can assure you that. And if that's the case, why not just leave him on ours? So I don't know. And I'm with you, Mark. I usually like preseason games to watch the rookies, correct? But again, if Harmon's your starter, you should treat him like a starter. That's kind of how I feel about it. Just like you said earlier. So if Harmon's the starter, just treat him like that. Just treat him like that. That's all. Just treat him like a starter. And the starters were out of the football game. Didn't think there was a need for him to be there. I just didn't. Charles Jones with super chat. It's the preseason. I do not want to have a fast start. Can't afford a slow one because the AFC is stacked. Yeah, Steelers got to have a fast start. There's no doubt about that. We can't come out of the gate 2-2, because the Steelers have an opportunity early on in the season. I know a lot of people, and Minnesota does have a good roster. A lot of people are just counting that as a loss. I mean, we may hate Mike Tomlin's schemes and we don't like, some of the stuff that he does, but he is pretty good against rookie quarterbacks, and J.J. McCarthy is a rookie. So that's the difference. That is the difference. So we'll see. We'll see. But I agree. We got to have a fast start. Mason said, Y.A. Black is the real deal. Yes, he is. Appreciate the super chat. Yes, he is. He is the real deal. So, then our man Henry said, Mason just led a team to the overall pick. So Mason Rudolph was the quarterback of the Tennessee Titans all year last year, or did he have, I think it was either 4 or 5 starts on a team that had no talent. I'll let you decide which, but apparently it was all Mason Rudolph's fault. I apologize. Got it. Unbelievable. Oh, well, it is what it is. Super chat here from Enzo. What's up, guys? First time coming here. Harmon, starter or no starter, though? He doesn't seem to be durable. I mean, has Harmon been hurt another time? Like what? I'm not sure where the durability issue comes in. I know they said there were questions about, well, he had a shoulder injury coming in, but he played the entire football season and was extremely dominant with this supposed injury. I don't know where we get that he wasn't durable. But maybe I missed something. I'm not sure. But I get it. We're all nervous about it. I'm with you, though. I'm with you. So the Vikings defense is going to be garbage. So I think we can steal that game. The Vikings defense is going to be garbage? I don't think the Vikings defense is going to be garbage, Mason. I think the Vikings defense is going to be pretty good. Our main man over there, Brian Flores, knows what he's doing as a defensive coordinator. Yeah, I don't think the Vikings defense is going to be garbage at all. I don't think so at all. So, yeah, their defense was pretty damn good last year, and I don't think they lost a whole lot from that. I think their defense is going to be just fine. So, Peyton Warren looks slow. My God. I mean, first of all, can we get Peyton to get, or not Peyton, but Warren get some better cleats? That's number one. He looked like he hadn't even played football before. He looked like he had no preseason anything out there. Kept slipping. And I'm just like, fumbled on his first touch. He fumbled the damn football. I'm like, what are you doing? So, whew, I don't know. Yeah, Jalen Warren didn't look good. And that was without being worn down. You know how I feel about when he gets worn down about how he fumbles the football all the time. And his first touch, I don't think he was worn down. I would hope not. So, but either way, be your thoughts about the run game. Any reason to be concerned? I don't know. I mean, look, the starters against Tampa starters, as far as running the football, that was a problem. That was absolutely a problem. So that was an absolute problem. But as far as anything else, tonight they looked better, but it was against backups. So let's get into the season before we get concerned. Let's just get into the season and see what happens. Let's get a real game plan together where we actually see a real game plan on the field. And then if it looks bad, then we can be concerned. But I think right now, it's too much. That's kind of what I think. I think look, it just didn't look good, and it's fine. But I just don't think we just need to panic with preseason yet. So I just don't think we need to panic during the preseason as of yet. So that's my thing. Self-made. Do we miss Najee? No. Look, somebody said that tonight during the live stream. I just want to remind everybody that keeps talking, oh, Najee, we should have never got rid. Najee Harris can't see right now, ladies and gentlemen. He only has one eye that he can see out of. So keep that in mind before we keep saying, oh, we need Najee back. He has one eye that he can see out of. Whether that's good or maybe that's good enough, I don't know. But that just we talked about his vision, and we said he didn't have great vision as a running back. That was everybody's. He wasn't explosive, and he didn't have good vision. Well, now he's got one eye. I'm guessing the vision's a little worse, but that's just me. So, no, I don't miss Najee. Not at all. So, appreciate you, Charles Jones. Thanks for supporting the channel, man. So, illegal immigrant says Caleb Johnson is no kick returner. Whoever made that decision to try him there needs fired. Say it again for the cheap seats. Lord have mercy. I mean, Caleb Johnson, first of all, he keeps getting destroyed on these kick returns. I'm like, bro, do you have any vision? Like, where are you running? No, he is not a kick returner. No. And if you got to find somebody that's all they can do, then you need to find somebody and that's all they can do. But Caleb Johnson is absolutely not it. Jiminy Christmas. I mean, when he got leveled tonight, isn't that guy didn't come out of nowhere? Like, that guy didn't come out from the side where he couldn't see him. I'm like, man, have some wherewithal about yourself. Woo. Yeah, you're exactly right. He is not a kick returner. I noticed that too. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Yeah, he got smacked. So, but he does run a little high. But he didn't fumble the ball. That's true. He didn't fumble the ball. So, but that's what we saw tonight, man. There wasn't a ton to really go over. There wasn't really a ton to talk about. We saw 2 series from the first team guys, and the defense didn't look interested. Okay. And the offense didn't really look interested. They almost looked like, hey, we're here, be here, and that's kind of it. And as soon as we can get through these first 2 series, we'll be done. So, Mr. Dodd, he said he shouldn't be back there. True. But Gunnar Olszynski Anybody? No. And I get it. I'm just saying, I mean, the Steelers got to be able to find somebody that can return kickoffs. They got to find somebody. So, but we'll see. We will see. Our man Gunner, y'all remember that? He damn near lost us that Baltimore game with the fumble. So, but it's people panic because the Steelers are running so much vanilla stuff. Yes, Somber, you're exactly right. There you go. Said it'd be nice to see the non-vanilla stuff they've been working on. Exactly. They run so much vanilla, basic concepts, basic blocking schemes, route trees, all this basic stuff in all the preseason games. Not to mention on offense is without your quarterback and your top receiver and one of your main tight ends. So, and other than the seam route that they threw to Darnell Washington, I got to believe they're going to be a little bit more dynamic with him too. So you saw Muth with the same stuff tonight. You saw him catching the same passes on bootlegs. You didn't see anything dynamic. They put him in motion one time and he was the lead blocker on a toss that got some yards. It just wasn't, it was just basic kind of stuff. So that's the difference. It was just basic stuff. So not a ton to talk about tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The main thing is, did Derek Harmon, did he get hurt? Is he going to be okay? They say knee sprain. We'll know more when the MRI comes out. Hopefully it's not overly serious. And if it isn't, I think we may have dodged a bullet. But I saw on Twitter, somebody put this out there, that last year, thank you, Blue Cheer. We appreciate you for supporting the channel, man. Thank you very much. But they put this out there as last year, Tanu basically out all year. Okay. Roman Wilson, basically out all year. And then Derek Harmon, you're thinking, okay, he's out all year. Hopefully that is not the case. So that is not the case. So Charles with the super chat said, B, your thoughts on the O-line? They got to get it together. But again, I want to see them with everybody out there. I want to see them with the entire starting offensive unit in a real game, running real plays, kind of like we just talked about. And then we can grade them. But let's not go overboard. Even the all 22 that we put out earlier today, we were on them because they didn't look good against Tampa. They looked terrible against Tampa. But again, it's just basic stuff. And it's preseason football, And while some guys are trying to win a job, preseason is not the regular season. It just isn't. So it just is not. Having said all of that, you don't have to look bad. I say it a million times. It's like, just because it's preseason doesn't mean that you have to go look bad. So, but they have time. Final cut down day is Tuesday by 4 p.m. The big show will be that night, so be prepared if you're here. That's all we'll be talking about is what the 53-man roster looks like. Predictions, I didn't see a lot. Again, we just didn't see a ton tonight to be able to evaluate it. Most of the game, basically the whole second half, a bunch of guys that for the most part aren't going to be around. So it's just that back end. I think Corey Trice has played himself out of a job. I think Dante Kent, unfortunately, has played himself. And I say played themselves. They've been unavailable. And so being injured is going to cost them a job. I think both of them. And I think that's where Beanie Bishop might get a job, is because of that. But those two aren't the only ones. Daryl Porter Jr. has looked better than Beanie Bishop. They just signed him like a week or so, 2 weeks ago. He's looked better than Beanie. So it's one of those situations where it seems like the Steelers are saying, okay, it's Beanie Bishop, and they keep bringing guys in to beat out Beanie Bishop. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of what I was talking about, John Mechie. Everybody wanted to trade for John Mechie, And I was like, well, hold on. Do the Steelers want him? Number one, is he an upgrade? But number two, the Houston Texans went out of their way the last couple of years to put guys in and bring guys in and put them ahead of him on the depth chart. The Steelers are doing the same thing with Beanie Bishop. They have gone out of their way to bring guys in to put ahead of him on the depth chart. So it's just a matter of, can he fight that off and earn himself a spot? If you were asking me to bet on it, I would bet that Beanie doesn't make the team. Doesn't mean that I don't want him to or rooting for him. But if you said, Brian, you got to bet, who are you putting your money on to not make the team out of these three guys, James Pierre, Darryl Porter Jr., or Beanie Bishop, I would bet that Beanie Bishop doesn't make the team. So that's the difference. I would make that bet. So I would make that bet. Blue Cheer says, I feel bad about Trice. He looked to be a bookend with JPJ. I mean, he just can't stay healthy. Just can't stay healthy. And you can't depend on guys that can't stay healthy. So you just can't, you know. And it's tough because we like him and you can see some ability, but I know it's a cliche. I know that it gets old. I know people use it way too much, but it never is not true. Is the best ability is availability. And unfortunately for Corey Trice Jr., he's just never available. So can't count on that. And I know, let's just say the Steelers get rid of him and he goes somewhere else and plays well. And they'll say, well, the Steelers wasted him. Well, the Steelers didn't waste the man. He could never stay on the field. So that's not the Steelers' fault that he couldn't stay healthy. Kept tearing hamstrings and a knee. I mean, it's not the Steelers' fault. But either way, we'll see. We'll see. Mark Cunningham says, B, is it possible we have two running backs on the practice squad? I like Nichols and Sermon. Well, I think one of those guys is going to make the team. The reason that I say Sermon over Nichols is because Sermon is good on special teams. He's a good special teams player and has been in the league for a while, been a good special teams player. You know, that's the difference. I mean, they both look good tonight in what they were doing, again, against 3s and 4. But I think one of those guys is going to make the football team. It's tough keeping 3 or 4 running backs, but I think one of them will. And if again, here's another situation. If I had to bet money, I would bet on Sermon. But just because I think they're probably about the same when it comes to ability as far as a running back. But Sermon gives you stuff on special teams. And special teams is key. It's kind of overlooked, but that's the key. That's the key. So, Leal looked good. I mean, did he? I'm not sure. I mean, first of all, he did nothing until this game. And it's almost like Leal got told, you either do something or you're getting cut right after the game. And he flashed a little bit, but he couldn't get guys on the ground. Couldn't get, as far as sacking guys. Same thing with Jack Sawyer. I don't know, man. I don't know about our man Sawyer. It's what I was afraid of when we drafted him. And everybody killed me for it. And I said, man, he doesn't have that NFL explosiveness to be able to turn the corner. He's got to have more pass rush moves. And it's kind of the same thing, is that these tackles, even these third string tackles, he can't necessarily just beat them around the corner all the time. And he does not have a counter move. Now, that's something you can learn, clearly. I mean, you don't have to be polished as a pass rusher immediately when you come into the National Football League. But for him to be effective, he's going to have to figure that out, because against these NFL tackles, he's not beating those guys. With what he brings to the table right now, very good against the run. Let me clarify that. Against the run, he will hold his own. He will 100% hold his own. But when it comes to pass rushing and getting around these tackles, he's going to struggle. He's going to struggle. Unless he turns it on and turns it up another notch, when the real game starts, and maybe he will. Maybe he will. I hope he proves me wrong, damn it. But it's just what I see. It doesn't seem that he can get around that corner on NFL tackles. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I hope he proves me wrong because I don't mind being wrong because that means the Steelers are winning. So that's all I'm waiting for. So sign of relief on Harmon, says my man Digital Dust. Yes, it is. It is a big sign of relief. So a huge sign of relief. Huge sign of relief. So, but I appreciate it. But we're going to get out of here tonight, people. So I got some stuff that I got to take care of. Real life is happening. So I appreciate everybody being in here. We'll figure out something for the weekend on what we're going to do on the weekend, man. We will get something done. So, but either way, I appreciate all of you guys being in here. Thank you very much. We'll get figured out. We'll get some stuff figured out. Wait for the Harmon injury to come out. So look in the chat there. Look, we got a contest going on, people. All you got to do is click on that link that's in the chat. The Steelers Almighty Shop. Basically, what it is you're picking every single game. Pick every game. Either Steelers going to win or lose. Tabulate it up, and we're going to find out who the winner is. The winner gets $250 of Steelers Almighty merch that you guys get to choose. So pretty simple. Pretty simple. So it doesn't cost you one single penny to enter the contest. Not one penny to enter the contest. So we'll get it all figured out. Just make sure you guys enter for your chance to win. Like I said, $250 of merch from the Steelers Almighty Shop. So we appreciate you guys, man. Thank you as always. And we will talk to you soon. And aloha.